Hey, you kids, get off my lawn. Unless you're mowing it, let's see your mobile phone for initiative. Do as I say. What's up, a frowny face? Go out and play. Just like your parents did. Just like your parents did. As if your parents did.
Hello and welcome to First Gen Gamers, a podcast that discusses the weird, wild, silly history of video games. I'm co-host number 1, Jed. Co-host number 2, as always, is Ashley. Hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm alive. How are you?
I am also alive. It has been a long week, and I'm ready to do something relaxing and have a little fun, except for we're recording podcasts with negative topics.
Well, if I may jump in before we get started, in case anybody's curious, I just discovered a new game. I think it came out within the past couple months that I've been playing nonstop, and it's really great. It's called Schedule 1. And imagine you look like Nintendo Wii characters, like from Wii Sports, and you are a small-time drug dealer that like grows and sells their own weed. And then you have to sell it. You can eventually grow and get a distributor and have people people selling for you on the streets. Then you can work up to meth and stuff. Anyway, it's amazing. It sounds dumb, but I love it and I highly recommend it. It's like $20 on the Steam store. It's so much fun.
You are not the only person in my life who has discovered that game and has fallen in love with it.
It's so good.
I got a buddy in a Discord server that has fallen in love with it. He was telling us about how he cuts his meth with, battery acid or laundry detergent.
That's smart.
Yeah.
I use Adderall in mine. That's smart. I'm going to try the batteries.
My oldest son discovered it as well, like that for graduation, which they graduated a couple months back. Their big gift from Grandma and Grandpa was gaming PCs. And so he unwraps he sets up his gaming PC and he's hot to trot. He downloads Steam and Epic and he's ready to go. And somehow he stumbles on Schedule 1 within like the first week. And he's already, my kid's a stoner. My kid loves just that whole culture.
I love it.
He loves drill rap. He's just that kind of, he's a cool kid. Yeah, he's a typical teenage boy. It's perfect. And he found Schedule 1 and it's just, I haven't talked to him since he discovered it, but it's right up his alley and he swears up and down by it. So,
oh yeah, I'm addicted to it. It's really, truly one of the best games I've played in a long time. So figured I'd add in a game I love before we start talking about games we hate.
That's fair. You know what? I will toss in a game that I love, a little positivity that I discovered through this show. It was an episode a couple months back, one that you were absent for, where I had a special guest co-host, Lacey Finley, where we talked about full motion video games and the history of them. And she recommended a game called The Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker. So it is a full motion video game, but it is not like Night Trap where you're clicking through cameras, and it's nothing like that. You are taking over the practice of a murdered psychiatrist, and you are interviewing all of the patients and getting to know them and beginning their therapy. And in the process, you're also trying to solve the murder of Dr. Decker, which is randomized through every playthrough. So this time it could be patient number 1, the next time it could be patient number 5, and so on. Every patient has a really weird diagnosis. Like one guy is convinced that time stops for him and days are really 25 hours long, but for 1 hour, he's the only person on earth who can move. One guy thinks he's caught in a Groundhog Day style time loop. One woman who's very flirty, attractive, wears lots of low-cut dresses in her scenes, of course. She gets that. It's important because her quirk is that she randomly blacks out and wakes up naked on the beach.
Oh.
And wants to let you know that she dances around in her house in her underwear, sometimes less.
It's weird.
It is very weird. But so all of these things, so you're conducting these psychiatric evaluations and interviews and trying to follow up on clues, and there are preloaded questions You could also go freeform and type out your own. And there is severe hints. I mean, it's not even hints. I'm into the third day, and by now it's stopped being subtext. It's now just straight up text. This is taking place in the Cthulhu mythos. Somehow this is Lovecraftian. I haven't quite pinned down how, but something is going on with that whole Cthulhu thing. Very interesting, very creepy, but really a lot of fun. I'm not inventive enough to come up with all of the interview questions that I probably should be able to, but it's still a lot of fun.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah, and it's not expensive. I got it on PS5. I think I got it on sale. It was like $10, but I want to say it's no more than like 20. And it's available on all the platforms. So it's available on Steam. It's available on the consoles as well. Worth it. It's a nice, simple kind of chill game. You know, you don't have to have quick reflexes or anything.
Like a cozy game, except murder.
Yes.
Which should be cozy for some.
Murder and madness. Yeah. Nice, cozy topics.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's enough positivity. Let's get to the other side of the coin. What is our topic today?
Our topic today is games we hate.
Is there anything more that needs to be added to that?
I don't know.
I imagine that there's different reasons why we might hate certain games,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what we'll explore. So you have 7 examples. I have 6. Why don't you take the lead?
Okay. I'll start off with Star Wars Battlefront, the scam that wore a stormtrooper helmet. Let's start with Battlefront 2015. I feel like it looked really good. And for maybe 5 minutes, you would think that you're in the middle of Hoth pew-pewing alongside the rebellion and a bunch of cool shit was going to go down. But then it hit you that there's nothing there. The game was all atmosphere and no meat. The entire game is basically a glorified tech demo that EA decided to charge full price for. There's no campaign, barely any modes, and there is a laughably small pool of maps. So $60 plus tax, and then you're like, this is it. But EA wasn't done. I feel like that was just the bait. Battlefront 2 is when they doubled down on everything awful, even though they got a shit ton of negative feedback. So they marketed it like it was going to be a course correction, a bigger, better, deeper experience. But instead, you, again, paid $60 for a game that was not a full game. It was like an entry fee to a loot box simulator with the soul of a mobile game and the ethics of a casino. So, for example, if you wanted to play as Darth Vader, you couldn't, not unless you grinded for 40 hours or you spent money to unlock him. But it wasn't sure that you would unlock him. It was a chance to unlock him because they had like a randomized fucking slot machine. They did that with other characters too. All of them were locked behind either grind walls or loot boxes. So I feel like you couldn't even enjoy the core fantasy of Battlefront playing as iconic characters without either selling your soul to the game gods or grinding like it was your full-time job. And I was doing some digging. Players figured out that to unlock everything through the normal gameplay, it would take something like 4,500 hours or over $2,000 in microtransactions, which to me is like fucking insane. So EA, again, had a lot of backlash because of this and then had to walk it back in real time. They cut prices, they patched in fixes and tried to pretend like, I don't know, they didn't know what they were doing, but I feel like the trust was gone by then. I think this definitely became a masterclass in how to piss off your player base.
Yeah, I remember that unfolding, and it was just like you said, it was a masterclass in not knowing what the hell your fan base wanted or how to execute it, and putting money in front of an experience that people would want to come back and enjoy.
Yeah. I feel like that's classic EA, though. If you look at The Sims, they're like, oh, well, the Sims 4 base game is free. Okay, well, you have, 100 different add-on packs? They're $20 each and they never go on sale. So, I don't know. I feel like they're just...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
EA is amazing at how many ways that they can find to shortchange a game or fuck people over with it. Another example that comes to mind for the crass monetization would be the reboot they did of it's not Dungeon Master, Dungeon Keeper. It was a game series for back in the PC days in the 90s, like late 80s and into the 90s, that was really popular, and they killed it off for a while, and then they brought it back. They announced, we're bringing it back. This is mid-late 2000s, and people were going crazy because you get to like build dungeons and trap people, and you're the evil warlord, and everyone was excited for it. And then they said, "Oh yeah, by the way, it's a mobile game, gotcha mechanics, multiple currencies, pay to play, like everything that you can think of that makes mobile gaming a nightmare, they dumped into it, and it fell off the fucking table."
Love that.
So my pick, my first game here is also a Star Wars game. It's a little more personal though. This is Star Wars The Force Unleashed.
Oh, I loved that game.
This was back when GameStop still had a very generous return window where you could return something within, I think it was like the first 3 days, no questions asked, even if it was unopened. And I did that. I bought this game for the Wii. I played it for about an hour and a half, went right back to GameStop and took it back and said, no, I cannot think of a game that disappointed me more with the idea of wanting to do what all, being not just a Jedi, being a Sith, having the lightning powers, being able to make a Star Destroyer crash from orbit, all the things that sounded really cool about being a bad guy. And it was just the most redundant. Go to this area, kill 20 stormtroopers, move to the next area, kill 20 stormtroopers, go to the next area, kill 20 stormtroopers. I was so fucking bored with this game and just so disappointed by what I built it up into my head and what it actually was. I'm probably not giving enough justification. It was such a disappointment to me that I know it's been remastered and I know that it has reviewed well. I can't, that game makes my blood boil in a way that I can't describe.
To be fair, first of all, what the fuck GameStop did you go to that let you return a new game opened for a full refund? I'm going to challenge you and say you probably bought it used because you have a 7-day return policy for a full refund.
No, I bought it brand new day one.
What?
Maybe
my GameStop.
Maybe I exchanged it and got something else. I don't recall, but yeah,
They might have let you do
maybe
credit.
that's what it was.
I was going to say it's a nice GameStop. I liked the game because I really like Battlestar Galactica, and one of the characters the actor in Battlestar Galactica was also the actor that they based the main character from The Force Unleashed on, so I already liked the game going into it.
And I was just the opposite. I couldn't stand the main character. I thought he was kind of a whiny edgelord butthole.
Wow.
Sorry. It just, like I said, the hype and what I got, maybe that's my fault. Maybe I built it up in my head to be something that it was never going to be, but it just left a real sour taste in my mouth. All right, your turn.
So I picked like a franchise. That's probably going to piss a lot of people off. I'm just going to say it. I hate these games. I hate everything that they stand for. Dark Souls, Demon Souls, all of the Souls. To me, it's not fun. It's not rewarding. It's punishment in medieval cosplay. You die every 5 seconds and not just oops, I made a mistake. It's usually because the camera fucked up, the controls just didn't respond, or some goblin with a 2-frame wind-up turned your spine into soup before you could blink. And then after you die, you drop all of your souls or whatever precious nonsense you were carrying. And if you don't make it back to your body, it's gone forever. And then the game just laughs and says, that's the cost of learning to suffer, apparently. I feel like this game is for people who treat gaming like a trauma ritual. Like you're not getting better at gaming, you're developing Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know. It just feels like it was designed by somebody who hates joy and thinks that frustration is a personality trait. And there's not even really a story. There kind of is, but you have to dig through item descriptions just to find out who you are or why a tree is screaming at you. Everything just feels really vague on purpose so the community can act like it's deep. It's not deep, it's evasive. It's pretentious gatekeeping in digital form. I'm sorry. We're going to get yelled at for this. So, yeah, I don't want to get good. I want to have fun. And these games, they make that feel like a personal weakness and trauma, like a badge of honor. No thanks. I'm good. Same goes for Elden Ring. Won't play that shit either.
Here. I really don't have anything to add. Everything you said, spot on.
Yeah, I feel like it's for like a masochist. I don't know.
Every time I see IGN devote, a third of its front page to Elden Ring's latest DLC, I'm like, not everyone wants to play a game that's self-flagellation for 40 hours. I show some variety. Yes, these games are, I'm sure they are designed very well for whoever wants to do that, but not me.
Yeah, for sure. They're good games. Like, they're not bad games. The bosses are terrifying. It's just absolutely not for me. I don't have the patience of the new pope, so these
Me
games
neither.
just don't work for me.
I've got two franchises, but for now, I'll pick one of them. Five Nights at Freddy's. Hey,
Wow.
you decided to go after a sacred cow of many gamers of the internet, so am I. I cannot stand the cult around this game or this game franchise trying to make this game series be more than it is when it's basically Night Trap. Nice little callback there. But that's the gameplay is let's flick around cameras and look around a fucking pizza restaurant for haunted Chuck E. Cheese mascots doing creepy things. The stupid amount of lore and how a lot like the Dark Souls games, a lot of the lore is in extended media or it's in weird places that you have to dig for. That is not clever world building. That's, as you said, evasive. I should not have to turn into Scotland Yard to understand the story of the game and the lore behind it. Never mind the fact that the game is basically a jump scare machine. I hate jump scares, not because they startle me. Jump scares never startle me. I hate jump scares because they're the laziest method of communicating fear and horror. Because it's not fear and horror. It's being startled. Just having some stupid half-rotting animatronic teddy bear pop out of the screen and go, bleh. I don't find that funny. I don't find that fearful. I just find it irritating. Go the fuck away and let me play the game. Except for that's all there is to the game. Click on cameras in a matter of time before the clock runs out. Don't let this creepy animatronic bear come and get you. That, the fan base that won't shut the fuck up about it, like Five Nights is some type of religion, the endless theorizing and plot hole analysis. Just all of it. The YouTubers, oh my God, there's so many stupid YouTubers who all in the thumbnail make that face. You know the face, the YouTube face. Big wide open eyes, big wide open mouth. Oh, they overreact whenever the bear pops out in their videos and act like someone has just shot their wife in front of them. The whole thing around it just completely irritates me to no end. Haven't bothered.
Well, don't watch the movie.
Saw it came out. I was like, nope, no, don't need to. Besides, I saw Willy's Wonderland. It cannot be better than Willy's Wonderland. What's your next one?
Okay. I have two that kind of go in sequential order, but I don't have to do both of them at the same time. Mass Effect 3. To me, this is the moment that BioWare took everything good, holy, sacred, and player-driven about Mass Effect and threw it out of the goddamn airlock, because I knew something was amiss when I turned on the game and started going through the motions, and it asked me, what kind of player experience did I have? Like, did I want like no cutscenes, like more first player shooter? And that's when I knew that I had just, I don't know, crawled through Satan's asshole and was in the depths of hell. I don't know. It was just offensive to me. The game should have been the emotional finale to, in my opinion, the best sci-fi RPG trilogies of all time, except for the third one. Let's exclude that. You spent 3 games making choices, killing some people, saving some other people, banging some aliens. You decided who lived, all of that jazz. And what do you get for all of that emotional investment and trauma bonding? A 3-color PowerPoint presentation, red, blue, or green. Pick your preferred flavor of betrayal. And the extended cut didn't fix it. It just added more sad piano music and longer cutscenes to explain why everything still made 0 sense. They introduced just a bunch of random shit the last second, the Star Child, who, I don't want to spoil it, but they basically say, hey, nothing you did ever really mattered. So pretty much all of the political maneuvering you did, the romances, the near-death experiences, it didn't matter. And I feel like it wasn't just a bad ending. It was like a middle finger to the entire concept of player agency, especially like in this game. You know, it was like it's the same ending, doesn't really matter. You might become this thing, but you also might become this thing, and it doesn't matter anyway. Thanks for playing. Suck a dick. Yeah, I don't know. To me, that was the moment the franchise stopped being for the fans and started being for whatever. I think they were just trying to cater to like the Call of Duty bros. I don't know. What do I know? If you can't tell what my next one will be, it's going to be Andromeda.
BioWare did that,
I don't
right?
have to go now.
I feel like they really painted themselves in a corner. I'm not trying to let them off the hook. This is not going to be Jed comes in with a Galaxy Brain hot take thing. But I do have to say, I think they painted themselves in the corner because they made such a big deal about how much choice was in the game and how the game save file from Mass Effect 1 would be read by Mass Effect 2. So your choices would carry over, and 2 to 3. And so you have this escalating ladder of choices. And I don't think at any point they ever stopped and thought, there's way too many permutations for us to consider how this is going to end, how we're going to get enough endings to effectively satisfy all of the different ways that players could have made choices in the paths they took. I feel like that they really bit off more than they could chew. And rather than just come up front and admit, look, yes, you're making choices about how the story goes, but point A and point B are fixed events, and it's just how you get there. If they had been a little bit more honest, I'm not saying it would have made things great, but I wonder if the reception to Mass Effect 3's red, blue, green variation would have been a little easier to swallow. Like, it was a trap in their own design.
Yeah, I agree.
Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why don't you do Andromeda? Because, I mean, it's connected to Mass Effect.
So Mass Effect 3 had already slapped me in the face with its discount candy-colored ending. So when Andromeda showed up pretending to be a fresh start that the franchise needed, I gave it a chance begrudgingly. I really did, and that chance was wasted faster than a BioWare lead developer's last shred of dignity. Adontis. You leave the Milky Way in search of a new galaxy. Okay, cool. That sounds promising. But then you realize that this new galaxy is just a weird collection of fetch quests, buggy dialogue, and awkward sex scenes between characters that look like they're fighting off a stroke. The animation team, I don't really know, bless their hearts, but everybody walked around like their joints were installed backwards, and the facial expressions were really weird. It was very like uncanny valley to me. I don't know. Everything just looked fucking weird. The story sucked. We had a protagonist who couldn't hold a candle to Shepard, either female Shepard or male Shepard, both Shepards. Held in comparison. You had a crew that felt like generic NPCs from a knockoff space MMO, which sucks when you compare it to like Joker, who was great. And then you get shoved into a world where the stakes never felt real. The dialogue was cringed. The pacing was a mess. The moral choices didn't really exist. It felt like they removed everything that made Mass Effect special and replaced it with side quests that entailed scanning rocks and playing sci-fi Uber driver. So, I don't know. I feel like the game wasn't just bad. It was offensive to anybody who gave a shit about the original series. It had the Mass Effect logo, but it didn't really have any of the substance. It's akin to being a straight-to-DVD sequel, pretending to be a canon. So, yeah, it was the final shovel of dirt on the grave. Basically the death rattle of a franchise that used to define a generation.
Now they're trying to bring it back.
Piss me the fuck off. I'm done.
Believe me, I don't have high hopes for it. I don't expect much at all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you shat on a couple of entries from a famed, beloved franchise. I will reciprocate in kind. Probably the game that I beat up the most on, if you follow me on social media, or if you've known me for any amount of time. Final fucking Fantasy VII. Fuck this plagiarism game. Fuck it hard. And yeah, plagiarism. Because you know who did the permadeath thing before you, Final Fantasy VII? Phantasy Star 2. And it did it so much better. The character of Ni in Phantasy Star 2 has agency. She has a character arc. She has purpose. And her death is tragic. And it's unfortunate. and it's beautiful in its own way. And that boring, one-dimensional, useless airhead Aerith means nothing. She is a vacuous cardboard cutout. And when she gets knocked over, it's fucking meaningless. The whole game is just stereotypes and tropes of typical dystopic futuristic worlds where there's a megalithic corporation or a monolithic entity that's controlling the world. It is unoriginal in every way, shape, or form. Nothing about it is dynamic. The original, oh my God, the character design, why does everyone look like a Popeye cartoon? I can't stand this game. I can't stand the pretension of the game. I can't stand people, the fans of it, who treat it like it invented the RPG genre. In the pre-show, or I was telling Ash that I find it very hard to get worked up to the level of hate, just because to me, hate takes a lot of energy. It means I'm giving something real estate in my head that doesn't deserve to be there. This is one game where it's not just, I don't like it strongly. I fucking hate this game. Despise it. I despise everything about it. And I will sing that from the rooftops for the rest of my life.
That's intense.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this one. I'm sure this is where everyone will unsub from us. They'll be like, oh shit, he's a psychopath. Click. Sorry. I promise. The rest of them will not be
that was pretty intense.
The rest of them are.
That's okay.
The last three are a little more toned down, but good God. Oh. Good God. All right. So, do something before I keep saying I hate the game.
The next one I picked is Destiny, which I like to call the $500 million catfish. I know I'm going to make a lot of people mad with this one, but I don't really give a fuck. Destiny was marketed like it was going to be the literal second coming of FPS games. A living, breathing sci-fi world with MMO elements, cool, badass combat, sick lore, infinite replayability, all of the necessary PR buzzword fluff that you need with a game. But I think instead what we got was a glorified tech demo with the personality of wet cardboard and a storyline that felt like somebody deleted half of the script before launch. My biggest gripe is, I love being able to play video games with people, but sometimes a bitch just needs to game by her fucking self. I don't want to see people. I don't want to be near people. And you can't play solo. Technically you can, okay? But you're still surrounded by random people 24/7 doing the same shit as you in the same area. So it's like space-themed Times Square. I'm trying to explore Saturn's dusty remains and some guy named XXX420 Spartan 69 is teabagging a corpse next to me in the middle of a supposedly emotional mission. And there's no off switch for that, which pisses me the fuck off beyond. I can't even describe it. And I feel like there wasn't a story. It was kind of like a vague chain of events with some dialogue. Peter Dinklage was your AI sidekick. That was cool, I guess. But every mission boiled down to defend your ghost while it hacks something. And the enemies were just reskinned versions of each other with different paint jobs and slightly more aggressive AI. And by AI, I mean it walks towards you until it dies. So it felt kind of like shitty Halo, like Wish Halo or Temu Halo. And yeah, don't even get me started on the end game. You beat the final boss and the game's like, cool, congrats. Now do that 80 more times to get a slightly different pair of gloves. So I feel like it wasn't really a game. It was a launch day excuse to sell you half of something they promised that they'd finish later. And spoiler, even when they did finish it, it still felt empty. It still wasn't fun. The game just wanted it to be fun, but they weren't.
All right, I will go with my next one. Another entry from a beloved franchise. To me, the point where an entire company pivoted in a way that I didn't like. And that's Grand Theft Auto 4. I loved Grand Theft Auto, even though it's archaic as all hell. Grand Theft Auto 3 was fun. Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the 80s aspect in Miami was fun. San Andreas. I love San Andreas for not being mafia. I love it for having a different atmosphere and a different style. I love it for the touches of real life sin.
Yeah.
You could go and get fast food, but that might make, you could live on a diet of fast food, but that might make you fat and might make you slower and not as strong. So you got to go to the gym and work out to increase your stamina, increase your strength. But it wasn't intrusive. It wasn't omnipresent. It didn't derail the progress. It didn't feel like Grand Theft Auto occurring inside Second Life. It felt like Grand Theft Auto with some real life touches to it. And it was still fun. It was still loose and chaotic and a little ridiculous and a little satirical. And it was fun. There's not a better word than fun, because it still had a lighthearted feeling. Grand Theft Auto 4 to me is the tipping point when Rockstar started believing their own hype and shoved their heads so far up their ass and started to say, we don't make games, we make art. And that's what Grand Theft Auto 4 feels like to me. It doesn't feel like a game. It feels like an attempt to make something very serious that says something and is an artful expression, all caps there. But it's not fun. I mean, never mind the driving, which even fans of the game will admit, the driving in that game is fucking weird. Like, all the cars feel like they're on tires made of ice or something. The real life elements are overwhelming. Every time I would get a call from that obnoxious cousin wanting to go bowling or go play darts or whatever, shut the fuck up. I'm trying to do crime here. The depressing story, the depressing graphics that were so late 2000s of just this, everything was muted and kind of through a brownish filter. It's just such a dark, dreary game. And I'm a fan of dark, dreary things in art. I can handle that. Some of my favorite movies are dark and dreary and end sadly or end darkly. But there's a way to do it where it's still engaging. And I don't find Grand Theft Auto 4 to be engaging. I find it to be maudlin and mopey and full of itself. And I've played several Rockstar games since then, and they all have that same full of itself attitude of trying to be artful, but not quite succeeding. It's just that whole Rockstar attitude. And it all starts, to me, with Grand Theft Auto 4. That's the point where I stopped caring about Rockstar games. All right. What's your next one?
So I had to talk about a Borderlands game, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which was Borderlands, but unfunny. I love Borderlands. You guys know I talk about it all the time. I love the chaos, the loot grind, the writing. So fucking funny. Handsome Jack, amazing character, the vibe. So when Tiny Tina's Wonderlands was announced, I was really excited, especially because I had always found Tiny Tina's character to be pretty funny. I didn't love the fantasy themed spinoff. I'm not like a D&D player at all. Sorry, I'm just not, but I was okay with it. It was supposed to be new loot, a new world. Sounded like a win. But instead, I feel like I got a loud, shallow, confused mess that felt like somebody, I don't know, tried to imitate Borderlands 3 and then put it in a blender with bad joke writing and awful D&D satire. The overworld pissed me off because I don't know why they chose to take a map and turn it into a literal board game. You don't explore, you literally waddle through what looks like a board game with spaces on it. You bump into really random encounters. You can literally, it's like Pokemon. If you're wandering through the long grass, a Pokemon might appear. You have shit like that happen in the game, which is kind of annoying when you're trying to get to ultimately the level that you want to play. It's just really annoying. The writing, really bad too. Claptrap, who's also one of my favorite characters, so fucking funny. I don't know what they did with his personality in this game, but they made him just unfunny, improv with zero structure. Just scream a joke, drop a meme reference, and then yell Butt Stallion, which is a diamond horse from Borderlands 2. I know. You're like, what is Butt Stallion? Anyway, then the ending is almost kind of like a big battle royale. First of all, I'm just going to say it now. I hate anything battle royale. I'm sorry. I know that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't like it. And that was the ending. You had a battle royale boss rush that felt like it was designed by somebody that just gave up halfway through. It was really repetitive and it was like a dragged out gauntlet of old bosses that you've already encountered in in just like a plain generic arena. It's just really lazy. And then I feel like the game had potential to be fun, but instead it just felt like incomplete DLC. I don't know. The loot isn't great. The world isn't really fun to explore. I don't know. It's the first Borderlands game where I didn't care about the grind because the grind was like just cheap and repetitive. I fucking hated it.
I have nothing to add other than we've all been there. Okay, so you know what? I have two left. Have one is the other franchise that I want to shit on, but I was going to do that next. You've inspired me to go with a game in a franchise that I love that I hate. Franchise I love, the game I hate. And that game is Twisted Metal 2012. I love the Twisted Metal series. Twisted Metal 2 especially still holds up today, despite the fact that I think it runs at like 15 frames a second. It's still a fun game, single player or multiplayer. Twisted Metal Black is a psychotic, bizarre, evil game made by people with very sick senses of humor, and I love it. The original 3 and 4 they're a little bit rough, but they can still be enjoyable. When they announced that they were bringing Twisted Metal back for the PlayStation 3, I was through the roof because it was the first game in over a decade. So like when I play a narrative-driven game, I stick to one narrative-driven game at a time, usually. And then I will have games, what I call in my head, drop-in games, where I can just pop in, play for 30 minutes, not worry about story, not worry about anything serious. They're fun. Like Diablo 3 or Tetris Effect or wrestling or something like that. Things that are just like, I'm tired of playing narratively. I just want to kick back and relax and not worry about it. Twisted Metal's one of those where I can drop in, blow some cars up, and be done. So they announced the third one, and I'm excited. And then they announce it's all multiplayer. It's not built around single player. It's built around multiplayer. And my heart sinks because I'm not a multiplayer guy. I just want to play a game where I can blow up fucking cars with other fucking cars with guns on them and crazy people driving them. And they're not giving me that. I try the game anyway. I have online. Figure fine, I will give it a shot. That game is so empty, so devoid of anything interesting. Like they've got these big maps that are full of buildings that you can blow up. Like the landscape is interactive. You can blow houses up and buildings up and run through them and everything. None of it really has any impact. It doesn't really matter. You blow up a house, so what? It doesn't do anything for you. It's just a destructive environment. It's just such a nothing burger of a game. And here we are. It's 2025 is the time that we're recording and when it'll be posted. And that was the last Twisted Metal game. There hasn't been one in 13 years. And hasn't been talk of a new one. The only new Twisted Metal content we've got is the show. And it's just such a bland nothing of a game for the series to end on. All right. What's next for you?
My last one is Call of Duty. I really used to love Call of Duty. I'm not going to pretend like I wasn't fully locked in for Modern Warfare 2. And I forgot which one came out of COVID. I don't remember what the title was called, but there was like this awesome level where it was small. And it just had some shipping containers and everybody hated that level because it was chaos. Everybody was on top of each other, but I fucking mastered that level. Played the shit out of that Call of Duty. But Modern Warfare 2 was great. I feel like the campaign was great. The multiplayer was great. The maps were great. The guns were great. Just everything was great. God tier game. But then Activision looked at it and said, what if we did this every year but worse? And that's exactly what happened. So every single year, a new Call of Duty would come out. And they switched between Treyarch and who was it? Infinity War? Something like that. Yeah, Infinity War. I think Treyarch did the Black Ops games and then Infinity War did the other ones. But a new one came out and not like a new innovative COD. It was the same game with slightly different guns, different marketing buzzwords, and whatever gimmick the current team felt like throwing in. There were jetpacks, Pretty sure there was one that involved horses. I didn't play that one, but I'm pretty sure one involved horses. It just, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like Infinity Ward and Treyarch were playing ping pong with our expectations and slapping us with a half-baked campaign while they pretended like they were doing us a favor. And I really got like zombie mode fatigue. It was fun when it was fresh, but then it just felt like they were reskinning old ideas and throwing in some weird celebrity cameos like we wouldn't notice that they were out of ideas for several years. But to me, some people are going to hate this, but to me, the nail in the coffin was the battle royale. Warzone came in like a loud, drunk bro at a party yelling, "I'm the future." I don't know. I feel like a lot of Call of Duty players like it, but a lot more of them are like, we just want a normal match. We don't want to parachute into a massive map with like 7,000 people and get shot in the back 30 seconds later while trying to find a gun in a hidden closet. I don't know. I don't care about looting. I don't care about any of that. I fucking hate it. So I feel like COD used to be about tight skill-based combat, and now it's, I don't know. It's like broken meta weapons and sweaty 12-year-olds doing TikTok dances over your corpse. It's like Fortnite for adults. I don't know.
Okay, so on the whole
Call of Duty?
Treyarch Infinity Ward thing, I mean, the logic of this, they ping pong it back and forth. So Treyarch releases it one year, Infinity Ward releases it the next year. That means they have 2 years to build a game. 2 years. And these games come out so bare bones, so little iteration upon the previous version. Last year's was Modern Warfare. This year's is Black Ops. Next year's is Modern Warfare 2. This year's is Black Ops 2. It's like they don't bother creating a new idea and building something out of it. They just go, like you said, we're switching out a couple of guns, we're switching out a couple of maps and slapping it together and shipping it out. When was the last time that there was a single player campaign in a Call of Duty game that had any substance? Shit. When was the last time they had a single player campaign? Those have mostly been cut out. They stopped doing those. Or if they do them, they're like 4 hours long. When was the last time they did something that wasn't set in either modern times or World War II? Like, you have so many geographical locations that you could go to and so many historical battles that you could go to. Why is it always either modern or World War II? It has become the poster child for why annual releases are a bad idea. And that's achieving something, because sports games still do the annual release thing, and those things barely iterate, but at least there's new players and they refine things. You know, they refine gameplay a little bit, or they might add a feature here or there. Call of Duty doesn't even try that. It's like the Taco Bell of franchises. Taco Bell's only got 6, 7 ingredients. Each menu item uses 3 of them. Well, we'll just recite. Okay. Instead of a taco, we'll lay the taco on its side and split it in half. Here's a tostada. We'll wrap it in a tortilla. Now it's a chalupa. It's the same thing, just remixed over and over and over.
And the audience eats it up every year, which makes me question, what kind of audience do they have? Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that in a kind way.
So my boys, my oldest 2, who are 19 now, they got into Call of Duty 5-6 years ago because, of course, they were just becoming teenage boys and they were gamers. And, of course, they're going to become Call of Duty fans because, they would get the yearly release. They didn't get the yearly release last year. They don't even talk about playing Call of Duty anymore. And these are teenage boys, for fuck's sake. They're 19. It's not, no offense. Hey, I was a teenage boy at one point. We don't have refined tastes at 19. We're very simple to please. Explosions and tits. That's all we need. And even they're like, yeah, no, we're kind of over it now. We'd rather play anything else. Yeah, one of them plays Schedule 1. The other one plays mostly Roblox, I think, strangely. But they would rather play something else than play the 94th version of a military shooter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of wish Battlefield got more attention. I feel like it's always been overshadowed by COD, but I haven't played a Battlefield in a while. like several years, but the last one they came out with, I thought it was really good, but it just never had an audience like Pod.
All right. That brings us to the end of our episode. It is time once again for us to say, please rate, review, and share the podcast on your platform of choice. It only takes a minute, and it does the show a world of good to get out in front of other people. If you'd like to follow the show and both of us, the show is on Instagram and Blue Sky at First Gen Gamers Pod. The email address is firstgengamerspod@gmail.com. You can find me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd at Streets of Jed. Ashley?
F that pod on TikTok and F that _pod on Instagram. F that pod on Blue Sky, but I do get hella political. So if you're not interested in that, don't check me out there.
There you go. All right. That wraps it up. Until next time, everyone.